What's up, y'all? This is John and Mike back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. We are not streaming live on Millions tonight, but we will be back for that on Wednesday. Go check us out there, millions.co. Search Nothing Finer, and you can get all of our live streams there. We do want to remind you about a couple of things. BetUS, 125% bonus and 30 risk-free bets. Make some money with us because this week I posted my bets on Instagram, and let's just say y'all have been walking away with some cash if you'd have been in on that. Also, ASW giveaway handle of Hunker Vodka, the official NIL vodka of the Classic City Collective. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow ASW, tag a friend. You'll be in the giveaway. As of right now, we have one person in the giveaway. So it'll be a really easy choice to make. Won't even have to do a random name generator there. I mean, I appreciate you guys trying to make my job easier, but I want more people to have to fight for it, you know? Might even do a Fight Club style. Brackets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get in, man. Free handle.
I mean, if I could get in, I would.
Yeah.
But I can't give my own things away to me. So, you know, it's a little
Yeah.
frowned upon.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure ASW wouldn't be a fan of that.
So this week, obviously, we are talking about the Deep South's oldest rivalry, rest of the big games. But before we get to that, how was your weekend and what are you drinking?
Uh, Weekend was good. We got to hang out, and that's always a good time. I wish the game would have went, and we'll talk about it in a minute. Would have been a little bit more, or a little less frustrating to say the least. But that was fun. And like, so we started a diet today. So like and this is the first time I did cardio in a while. So like I just literally just walked back in from the neighborhood gym.
There you go.
I'm fucking dying.
Yeah.
It's been a few
Um,
months since I've done any cardio. I've lifted, but not cardio. So
I love to call it cardio. No.
yeah.
Just because the only kind of cardio I really enjoy doing is horizontal. Uh, I said I was going to try to be cleaner. I did.
We that's long gone at this point.
I
This,
feel like we have a conversation every week off air. Like, we really need to clean it up. If we're ever going to get some bigger sponsors, maybe, do some cool things with some cool people. And then
man.
mine goes away from the business side into the gutter every time.
Oh, I mean, there's a few things in here that we probably shouldn't show any prospective sponsors,
Probably not.
at
Probably
least that
not.
I put in there. But as far as what I'm drinking, I just got some Arnold Palmer again. Had too much fun yesterday, so trying to detox a little bit.
No, yeah, like you said, we got to hang out yesterday. Got to hang out with you and your wife and your kids and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. My bets went phenomenally. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Must be nice.
But no, man, today was great, dude. Went and played disc golf this morning. Had a good round. My friend was like, "Hey, my girlfriend's coming up here. We got a packed lunch. We're gonna go eat on the beach. Y'all want to hang out?" So I went and hung out on the beach for like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh yeah.
Went over to Huckapoo's. Buried the lead here. Your boy went from worst to first in fantasy baseball.
Oh, there we go. Let's
It is
go.
officially over. 0 games left to play. And
Mhm.
I'll pull the score back up just to kind of reiterate just how insane it is that I went from worst to first. Championship game. I won 11-5.
Okay.
And before today, I had my ERA through the week after 42 innings pitched. Before today, the ERA of the week was .93 and the WHIP was .62.
Whip it.
42.2 innings, and I had a less than one ERA on my team. See, your boy's getting some whiskey. That's,
How
you
many
know,
how many bottles is that again?
I'm going to just take what I was going to put in. So I'll
Mhm.
get five extras.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
But I will be giving one of those away after I inevitably just get curb stomped every week of the fantasy football season because I was so much. I knew I had a chance to win baseball, so I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, dude, I don't care about football right now. I'll deal with it later." And all the good players are gone
Yeah.
in our league. So I had a single player score me more than 4 points today,
Yeah.
and it was
Oof.
Trevor Lawrence who got 12.
I had a rough time in my fantasy league. I only put up 62 when I was favored when I was projected to put up like 130. So it was bad. Bad, bad, bad.
In football, I have put up 53, um, and I'm only projected to put up 65.
Mm.
So I really need the guy that I'm playing against to get negative 46 for me to win.
Hmm.
Not sure if that's going to happen.
Well, even like the what was it, the Broncos, like when they, gave up what 70 to Miami, I think they scored 12 because I think they had some sacks and stuff. So yeah, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. While we're on the train of things that are disappointing, Georgia minus 14 and a half at Auburn. Over under was 46 and a half. Over hit,
Yeah,
barely. Half
barely.
point. Half point.
Mhm.
Um, I'm probably not going to be very positive about this because uh, it was rough.
Yeah,
It was rough. We ended up watching this game in a restaurant instead of at Starland because the TVs didn't have the volume on, which I thought was kind
Mhm.
of odd.
And there was nowhere to sit either. That would have been tough.
It was tea and crumpets crowd that don't go to games that was
Yeah.
there. Not
Hmm.
trying to say anything negative about the alumni chapter down here, but if you're listening to us, drunk obnoxious Georgia fan is who we are and who we like to be. So the
Yeah.
tea and crumpets crowd and us don't mix. I'm pretty sure that our crew was the only people in Georgia stuff at that event that had tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like these people, who let them in?
yeah, people looked at me and were like, "Oh, there's no way he actually went to Georgia." You're correct.
There's a bunch of felons that walked in Starlin. Holy shit.
He has tattoos and stretched ears. Oh my goodness, he's probably on meth.
This fucking inker. Get out of here.
I wouldn't be this fat if I was on meth, guys. Calm down. Oh, so Carson Beck, 23 of 33 for 313 yards, 9.5 yards per attempt. The offensive line, we got in here that they struggled at times. I would say more that they did well at times because they struggled more than they did well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh, for a team that was, looking like they could potentially win the Joe Moore Award with three returning starters, shit was rough, dude.
Hmm. Bad.
Um, and not only that, Carson did like 23 of 33. Those 10 he missed were bad misses.
God awful.
And I
Yeah.
will say, if it weren't for Brock, he probably would have been 16 of 33.
Hmm. Probably would have thrown a couple more interceptions, to be honest, with those two one-handed grabs that he had, even though one was negated. It could have been a
Yeah,
lot worse.
it would have been a lot worse.
Hmm.
I would love to know what the coach's plan is for next year when Brock is, you know, hopefully not an Atlanta Falcon.
I Yeah, I saw that. I think Arthur Smith talked about how he, would like to get him on there. It's like, okay, you already have something similar to that in Kyle Pitts, and you don't fucking use them. So
Yeah. Hey, Arthur. Maybe get a quarterback that can actually throw to the weapons you do have.
Matt Ryan's out there.
Be better than Desmond Ritter
I mean, I'm saying.
because they're wasting a good offensive line and an okay defense on an awful quarterback.
Mhm. I think
Um,
Desmond tried to adapt somebody up after. I can't remember what play it was. I saw like I think I just saw like a short video about it, but like nobody was having it. I
yeah, like
think they're all over him too.
yeah, I don't. There's a reason I haven't really watched the NFL this year because there's nothing really exciting about it.
Well, I have the Lions, but yeah, I can understand.
I mean, the Lions are probably the most exciting thing about the NFL this year because it's like, oh wait, a team that's been bad for most of their existence is finally good. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Dejan Edwards, 19 carries for 76 yards, 4 yards per carry on average, and 2 touchdowns. The only other person that had more than one carry was Dylan Bell, who had 4 for 25. I will say, with just pure eye test, Dylan Bell looked like the best running back on the field.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Here's
was gonna
why
say it
this
if you
week.
didn't. Yeah, it's bad. That's not. That's not good. Not good.
Well, the thing is, Dylan Bell is shiftier than Dejan Edwards. And
Hmm.
with an offensive line that it couldn't couldn't block, like they're blocking like a wet paper bag right now.
Yeah.
So with something like that, you need somebody that's shifty.
Hmm.
And I'll be honest, well, I'll say it while we're talking about the Carson stuff. That would have been a game Brock Vandegrift excelled in.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
were they were getting upfield so fast after Carson that a quarterback like Stetson or Brock would
Hmm.
have been 20 yards downfield before they knew what was going on.
Yep.
And, I said it at G Day, and I've been all on the Carson train. Carson Beck's not seeing the field right now,
Yeah.
but he's also not. It seems like he's in way over his head. I mean, he was still trying to snap the ball after his own team called a timeout on fourth down.
Yeah.
Like, that's. Like, I know that it was loud,
Hmm. The
but
first road starting up, but yeah, I mean, this is year four in the system. Oh, at the program at least. So,
yeah, like
uh,
that's borderline unexcusable. And man, I hope Kirby's being honest when he said there's a competition every week for every position.
mhm.
Because first off, the offensive line needs to be more competitive, whether it's with themselves or another team.
Yeah,
And then if nobody is looking better than Carson right now,
that's not good.
Georgia might be pulling a Bama and trying to go find somebody in the transfer portal this offseason.
Hmm.
And I look, I want you guys to know that I want Carson Beck to excel as the starter. Like, I want him to prove me wrong and have multiple 25 of 30 for 350-yard games back to back to back to back. I would love to eat my words. Y'all can tag Cold Take Exposed. I want to be wrong.
Hmm.
The problem is, I tried to do some mental gymnastics all season and say, oh, well, the numbers are saying this. I'm just not seeing it on the field. But yesterday was awful.
Yeah,
Like 313 yards, cool. 9.5 yards per attempt, cool. If it weren't for Brock Bowers being Brock Bowers, Georgia loses that game.
Brock had
100%.
half of his
Yeah.
yards. I mean, most of that was yards after catch. It wasn't like he was. I mean, he hit some, couple, longish passes, but I mean, most of that work was done by Brock all on his own. Especially that last touchdown, that 40-yarder. That was all him.
And that throw to Oscar Delt, while I do think Oscar could have caught it, blame's not entirely on Carson.
Hmm.
A better throw, and that's a touchdown.
Yeah. Hmm.
Early in the game, when you're not doing well, you're trailing already, boom, you got Oscar Delt open enough to score a touchdown on that play, and you throw it, what, 6 yards to his 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it's not going to get it done.
No. I
Yeah,
like
yeah. Oh,
if
you can go ahead.
if if Carson doesn't play well next week against Kentucky, which if you watch their game on Saturday, it's going to be very hard to play well against Kentucky because our defense is phenomenal once again.
Hmm.
If he doesn't play well, I think there needs to be a midseason quarterback competition.
Yeah, especially in that. I mean, at least in that Vandy game. I mean, you should win that game pretty handily, even with Carson Beck, even if he's playing bad. So let the boys sling it around.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
Um, that interception, the one where the guy just dove over Marcus Rosemary-Jackson.
yeah, he just stole it. I mean, God, I mean, Marcus could have caught that. I mean, they both kind of came down with it, but he ended up, with it. But
And
that was tough.
and don't get me wrong, like you said, Marcus could have got that,
Mhm.
100%. But that wasn't a good decision.
No, no, God, no.
Like that, and if you're going to make that decision, you have to place it better. And he absolutely did not.
Hmm. It was funny in the broadcast. I went back and kind of watched some like the key plays on like YouTube TV, right before we got on. Um, there was a play like in the last drive of the game or last drive that Georgia had in between Brock like catches and all that. Gary had said, "Oh, that's the first bad decision that Carson's made all day." I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe on this drive.
Right? It's like he made several that could have been very very costly.
And fumble by Oscar Dell. Turnovers, like Georgia's probably what, even on turnovers this year?
Yeah, if not like one or two, minus that.
Well, the problem is that they have gotten a lot of turnovers. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. If you don't know, the NCAA stat website is actually a phenomenal uh,
Mm-hmm.
resource.
Yeah,
But
the only thing the NCAA does right.
yeah, I mean, most of the stats we get is from this website because they do update it after the game. Like they
Mm-hmm.
update it Sunday morning. Super cool. Georgia's actually tied for 38th in the country in turnovers. Would you like to know who they're tied with?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Auburn,
Oh, oh,
Kentucky,
oh shit. Okay.
South Carolina.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Murderers Row, as
uh,
everyone expected.
almost. We'll say involuntary manslaughter's row.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh. Brock. Oh, where would Georgia be without Brock Bowers this year? 3-2.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, we'd have at least two losses for sure. Just bailing them out.
8 catches, 157 yards. Almost all of those yards were after the catch. He's catching 10, 15-yard passes and going wide open. One thing I saw that I thought was cool is for our side at least.
Mhm.
Somebody tweeted at Auburn's defensive coordinator after the game
Yeah,
yesterday
yeah.
and goes, how did you not have Brock Bowers double covered on the biggest drive of the game? And the
Right.
defensive coordinator responds and says, Bowers was double covered all game. He's just that good.
Um, no, yeah, yeah, for real. He had what was it? I think I had it in here. He had 121 of his 157 yards in the fourth quarter. So like he was pretty fairly pedestrian up until the fourth quarter, and then they tugged on Superman's cape and he came through.
Honestly, I would really love for the offense to just be like, hey, instead of us being down and turning to Brock, like first quarter, let's just Brock.
You would take so much heat off of Mike Bobo and Carson Beck if you did it that way. If you just flip flop the game plan around,
Yes.
just fucking force feed Brock
I
throughout the first quarter. I mean, at least. But
and for these games that are frustratingly close, if someone would like to just like take out the part where I say what the offense should do and email it to Mike Bobo, um, because the game plan that I talked about before or last week was a
Hmm.
lot better than his game plan. Because the what 3 or 4 times Carson did a bootleg, got out of the pocket, the field
Beautiful.
opened up.
Yep.
Like
Hmm.
I don't understand how difficult that is. And they got away from the run game early. I mean, uh, top two ball carriers had a total of
So,
23 carries,
maybe what they combined for what? Less than 100 yards?
101.
100, okay. Not a math guy, but not, not typical of what we expect out of this backfield.
No, no, and I would have been okay if the first two drives were 3 and outs. I don't care if you get down a little, but you emphasize running the ball to the outside so you can actually get play action. But when they don't respect your run game, you're not going to get those play action shots.
Hmm.
Getting Carson out of the pocket to, relieve some of that pressure that the offensive line couldn't stop. Like,
Hmm.
these are basic football concepts that the team just seems to be ignoring.
Hmm.
And it's driving me insane. I mean, I texted Connor right after halftime and I said, "You were right. Fuck Mike Bobo. This is stupid." I'm beyond frustrated and disappointed with the offense so far this season. Um, and this is a note that I have in here. Instead of warming up before games and stretching, just play 1v1 15-minute scrimmage.
Yeah.
Just do that because the offense and defense is terrible in the first quarter. So just get the
Yeah.
first quarter out of the way before the game.
Hmm.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know if it'll work, but nothing else they've tried has worked.
Right. I mean, has it only been, have they only scored a touchdown in one game so far in the first quarter?
I believe so.
Ugh, that is so, so opposite of last year. Because I
And
mean, and the year before that too, I think I won like a bunch of props, like what Georgia scored in the first like 5 minutes of the game. I cashed on that so much in 2021.
and if your offense is gonna sputter in the first half, stop deferring. Like if you win the coin toss, we want the ball.
Yeah.
We want more possessions in the first half.
Hmm.
Because the defense comes out lights out in the first part of the third quarter every single week.
Yeah.
Give them a chance, but also give the offense more of a chance to actually start going.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and we'll get into it when we talk about Kentucky, later this week. But I am super nervous about this game. More nervous than I was even like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because
Especially the way they played against Florida. We'll get into it,
yeah,
next. But oh my god,
yeah, yeah. Like I've
oh
never
my god.
been I've never been nervous about a Kentucky game before,
Mhm. Well, and the thing is, they always play Georgia tough. I mean, when it's been like the SEC East, de facto championship game.
and it's normally later
Yeah,
in the year, so
yeah.
everything's kind of played itself out, and it
Mm-hmm.
does come down to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
early in the year, both teams 5-0.
they're ranked now, first ranked matchup that Georgia has.
Oh,
Oof.
after we get done with players of the week and that kind of stuff, let's go over the AP poll because I have
All right.
not seen it yet because I
Okay.
wanted to live react
Okay. Yeah,
because
I'll pull it up.
I'm gonna have some probably wild things to say about Georgia and other teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and get the defense player of the game while you're pulling that up.
All right.
So we're gonna do A and B this week.
All right.
Obviously, Smile Mondin had 11 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. He was all over the place. Phenomenal, phenomenal linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that he should be here at least one more year. Very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then another guy that'll be here at least one more year, Malachi Starks. When
Thank
they
God.
need him, he shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Malachi Starks is the Brock Bowers of the defense. He's like, "Oh shit, you called? I got this. Don't worry."
Mm-hmm.
Every week, every week he does something that you're like, "Oh, okay, thank you. I'm so glad you picked our team."
Okay. I just thought of this just now. I don't know if he played any offense in high school, but if it ever got down to it, they might have to throw him out there on the other side. Even I mean, it's way more important on defense, but they get desperate enough.
Um,
Maybe next
I'm,
year. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. While you're going over offense, I'll look that up.
Okay. I can go over. Yeah, I'll go over that right now. All right. So offensive player of the game. I don't think there's any other person that could be besides Brock Bowers. I do want him to marry my daughter. He's gonna have to stay single while he's in the NFL, making all these like millions of dollars and all that. But again, he was unreal in the game. 8 catches, 157 yards, including the 40-yard touchdown to take the lead with 2:52 left in the game. Had a couple one-handed grabs, even though one was taken back. Um, that the last one that was taken back or recalled because of a offensive penalty, just ridiculous. And I mean, he ended up really saving that from being caught from by one of the Auburn defenders there. So he not only was a great catch, but possibly stopped the interception. That if it was an interception, they would have definitely uh, turned down the penalty and then got the ball. But yeah, 8 catches, 157 yards. In the fourth quarter alone, he had 121 yards of that. Our man is definitely on track for being the second 1,000-yard receiver in program history. So shout out Brock.
Um, Malachi Stark's high school stats. His junior year,
Mm-hmm.
offense, defense, special teams. Um, he had 1,537 rushing yards.
Okay. Okay.
Um, he also had 48 pass attempts for 569 yards. Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
And 11 touchdown passes.
Damn. Doing it all.
Meanwhile, on defense, that same season, he had, well, his senior year, he had 66 interception return yards.
Wow.
I, put
What was that?
Malachi Stark should be our Travis Hunter. Why are we not using him?
Just throwing it out there if you want to, if we don't get Brock to New York this year. I know that's not necessarily a thing that Kirby cares about is, individual stats, which I mean, when you're winning championships, exactly, but
But
might
let's
have to.
let's be honest. The way the teams played through 5 weeks, is this team winning a championship this year?
Doesn't feel like it.
Nope.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Maybe if you actually started being like, we're going to get Brock as many yards as possible, we're going to throw Malachi on offense and special teams, and just like see what happens.
Yeah.
Be like, team's not playing well. Let's see if we can do some wild shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fake punts.
Especially if the season goes downhill, fuck it, go for it.
Fake punts. Give me
Yeah.
an onside kick to start the game, because why not?
Ooh. But no like fake punts.
No, we're not talking about putting Justin Fields in as a blocker for the first time in the season on a fake punt.
No. No, don't do that.
Because, like, I mean, I've seen them put Oscar Delp in for a punt block.
Yeah.
I, he can't hold on to the ball, or, maybe he could throw it.
Yeah.
It's intentionally getting rid of it there. He's already been good at getting rid of it.
Yeah, really. I pulled up Brock's stats so far this season. So last year he had 942 yards, 7 touchdowns, all that, 63 receptions. This year, so through 5 games, 30 catches, 413 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So I think he tied or went ahead of AJ Green in the program list. I think for what second all time in
Yes,
touchdowns. So again, shout out Brock, offensive player of every game.
of the decade for Georgia.
Yeah, all for real. Definitely the 2020s for sure.
All right, newcomer of the game. Boom's new dog of the week.
Oh, that's right.
I let I think we should go Peyton Woodring. We kind of roasted him in that South Carolina game in those
Mm,
miserable conditions. 2 for 2 on field goals, including a 38-yard make. And without those field goals, Georgia doesn't win the game. I mean, for a guy that we were hard on a couple weeks ago,
mhm.
he did well on Saturday and deserves recognition.
Especially in that environment too, for him to hit some clutch field goals in a tight game that was only a 7-point win. He, extra points included. I mean, without him,
And if
could
I
have went a
if
very
I'm
different way.
remembering correctly, it didn't seem like any of his were like, oh, he barely made it. It was like
Yeah,
middle
they're
of the
solid.
uprights,
Hmm.
solid make. Probably could have had a few more yards on it, like
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
for him to bounce back, his
huge.
also his first SEC road game,
Yeah.
great performance from Peyton, and not going
Hmm.
to apologize for saying we needed a kicking competition a couple weeks ago, but you're getting some getting back in the good graces.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then Hungriest Dog, again, we're, still, crowdsourcing that. So if anyone else has a better idea for that name, let us know. But Javon Bullard finally returned in this game, put up a bunch of stats, 10 tackles, 9 solo, and 2 pass breakups. So his presence was definitely felt. Now, you weren't going to have Peyton Thorne or Robbie Ashford necessarily kill you through the air, but him just being out there makes some saves when, the rushing defense was
And his presence is
gashed.
felt in
Mhm.
the run defense so
Yeah.
much.
Hmm.
Like Auburn ran all over Georgia, 100%. But without
Yeah.
Javon Bullard, probably add another 50, 75, maybe more yards.
And again, that could have been the game. Could have been the
Could have been the
difference.
game.
Yeah.
Um, man, I'm Javon Bullard. I'm so glad he's back. He needs
Hmm.
to stay healthy because I think he and Malachi are probably the best two players on the defense.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was thinking this, I kind of rewatching it today a little bit, how much we miss, that interior line, like someone like a Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter. Obviously, they don't like growing trees, and that was kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity to have both of them on on one team. But we are missing that like disruptor on that line. It's been no one's really stepped up
Yeah,
since.
no, right after the decision was made, I know I said that Georgia had guys to replace Bear Alexander. 5 games into the
It,
season, I think I was wrong. I think I
no,
was 100% wrong.
yeah, that's the person that hurt us the most when they left. Well, on their own for sure.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, we definitely had our own, fun at his expense and all that. And there's the questionable timeline of all that. But God, he was a player. I honestly don't know how he's doing at USC. I haven't really. You don't look at USC for their defensive stats or anything like that. But
every
the help.
USC game I've watched, his name has been brought up from him making a play. So he's definitely made his presence known out there in Southern California. But I think personally, he would be a household name if he was playing in Athens, and he kind of gave that up. But
Mhm.
NIL money's probably great out there.
Oh, for real, absolutely. A lot more legal
Um,
legal things out there too that he can enjoy. But
hey, Delta flights are legal in Georgia.
yeah.
You know, just
Hmm.
if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. All right, so we're doing a early week calling the dogs. I put it out on social media in the group chat. If you have anything positive to say about the game, call in, leave us a voicemail at 678-465-8020 because I knew watching this game yesterday that neither of us were going to be very positive about anybody but Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
So we did get one voicemail, and here is our first recap calling the dogs.
All right, guys. You asked in the group chat for anybody to call in with some positive spin if they wanted anything positive said on this podcast, because it wasn't going to be. So here is a take, something positive we can take away from this game. Auburn fans thought they were going to win the football game. And as much as Georgia's play did not look great for most of this game, I get that. It's almost, not quite, but it's almost worth it to watch these Auburn message boards and just see the complete collapse of their hopes and dreams unfold. We gave them hope, and then Brock Bowers ripped it away from them like it's a cancer patient losing hope that they're going to. That's terrible. Why did I make that comparison? I don't know. But my point is, It is hilarious to see your rival fan base think they are going to beat you, and then watch their souls be crushed as they don't. Now, the rest of the week, they're probably going to spin it as, yeah, we almost beat Georgia. Sure. And we get to remark at how far they have fallen in just a little over a decade, from being national championship winners and national championship contenders to celebrating almost beating somebody. So there's your positive. Laugh at Auburn fans.
Mike, I know you didn't hear it, but you'll have to listen tomorrow, because Caleb, he's stepping it up with the calling the dog segment, but nobody else is, and I'm disappointed in all you people for being lazy. I think you're muted.
Like, come on, don't you all want to be on this?
Yeah, 678-465-8020. Leave us some wild voicemails, because I'm sure Caleb's back is starting to hurt for carrying all of you guys in your drunken, obnoxious behavior.
You can call him the Brock Bowers of the calling the dogs.
But he's the Brock Bowers of the podcast. You know,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of research. He
Mm-hmm.
does, Caleb Tillman's our Brock Bowers. That's all we're gonna say. That's all we're gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
You know
who's our Mike Bobo?
He do what?
Said who's our Mike Bobo?
Oh, we don't have a Mike Bobo. We don't hire people with that sort of resume here.
Yeah, there we go.
While we're talking about people that could use Brock Bowers, that is Florida at Kentucky, who was 1-point favorite over under 44. And the Wildcats won this game 33-14, bringing their win streak against the University of Florida to 3 in a row. Ray Davis is 2-0 against the University of Florida, beating him at Vandy last year and at Kentucky this year. 280 rushing yards, including a 75-yard touchdown and 4 total touchdowns on the day.
Shout out me for having him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out me for seeing at 11 o'clock that it was like minus 101 for him to get a single touchdown on the day. And I was like, oh, I'll take that.
Easy. Yeah.
I should have taken the 4+ because that was like plus 600 odds.
Shit. Nice.
Devin Leary did not have a day. He had a total of 69 yards.
That was nice.
I'm sure he would have liked a 2 or a 3 in front of that 6, but
yeah.
Oh, that's my thinking that Devin Leary was going to save this program was incorrect. It's Ray Davis that is currently saving the program.
Oh my God! Could you imagine like if Georgia had Ray Davis on this team? Godly, man.
I honestly think Georgia would probably do a little bit more with Devin Leary too, but
okay.
That is not so. I still think Devin Leary's a hell of a quarterback. I just I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He's got phenomenal receivers. He's got a phenomenal running back. His offensive line at this point in the year has played better than Georgia's.
Yeah.
And he's just not clicking for him. Surprisingly, somebody who it did click for, Graham Mertz, 25-30 for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I said it last week that Kentucky was going to have to force Graham Mertz to beat them to win this game. That's what ended up happening. And even though Graham Mertz out-battled Devin Leary, which is not something I thought would ever come out of my mouth.
No.
They still couldn't do it. Struggled to run the ball, combining for 69 yards.
Nice. I mean, twofer in a game. Look at that.
Oh no, I'm a little shocked that Kentucky did so well against Florida. Like very concerned. Very concerned.
Yeah, this is again so far. This is the game that's concerned me the most. I think we were both pretty good going into the Auburn game and proven wrong. But
I want to be
this.
proven wrong again.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
the
am,
opposite way. Yeah.
yeah, I am not happy about this.
Mm-mm. How? Tell me, I don't know, and it's gone down too, but Georgia opened up. It was either 16 and a half or 17 points when it opened up.
It was 17 and a half this morning.
Oh my God. I think it's down to 15 now, and it could be even lower than that. But how? What am I missing?
Um, Same thing I'm missing. I don't probably because it's at home and a night game, but
Yeah. What has Georgia done to make you think that hey, they're going to win by 2+ touchdowns in any SEC game outside of maybe Vandy? I don't know.
not nothing. I can't really say anything. Um,
It must be for the casuals out there. Oh yeah, Georgia's won what 22 consecutive games and back to back defending national champs. They're playing Kentucky. Kentucky's a basketball school. Maybe they're going for the casuals. I don't know, but that seems
I
way
think
too high.
so. Early look ahead. I think a big part of it is that Devin Leary has struggled this season.
Mm,
And if Georgia knows that you can't beat them in the passing game and they're able to only focus on stopping the run, I feel like that's something the defense could do. The
mm,
problem is Kentucky's defense is just as good, if not better, than Georgia's defense this year.
mm. Well, Kentucky usually is a great value version of Georgia. I mean, they're usually built the same way. The strengths are usually the same, weaknesses are usually the same, but Georgia just ends up winning these games usually because they just have more talent. So we'll see if that, plays out, this week, but I don't know.
I I don't know, man. I am seriously concerned about this. I will say after this game, I am less concerned about Florida.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
but I think Kentucky potentially has a top two or three defense in the SEC this year.
That's fair. Absolutely.
Like Georgia's defense hasn't been as good as it normally is.
Hmm.
Alabama's defense hasn't been as good as it normally is.
LSU doesn't have a defense.
Neither does Ole Miss.
Nope.
Missouri obviously doesn't.
No.
A&M not
Me-
really. They gave
Yeah.
up a 50 burger to Miami.
Yeah.
We're running out of good teams here.
This is such a down year for the SEC. It's really
It's
unbelievable. I mean, considering how many teams did we have in the AP top 10 like in the preseason? What we had Georgia, LSU, Alabama,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I think Tennessee was top 10, maybe just outside.
Okay, but four in the top, 11 or 12, right? Like
Yeah,
I think they were 11 to start off with, but yeah, that it's definitely fallen off.
a
But
lot.
yeah. Did you want to do the AP thing real quick? I think we missed that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. To be clear with everyone else, I have not pretty much been on social media today. I don't know where anybody's ranked.
Okay. All right, you want me to start off at one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so one, which is not really a surprise, but obviously Georgia's still the number one team in the country, but uh, they only got 35 first place votes when I think last week they had like
It was over 50.
50. Yeah, 55 last week.
Yeah.
So
So Michigan got the rest of the first place votes, I'm assuming.
um they got some more. So Michigan is number two. They won 45-7 over Nebraska at Nebraska. It should have been a shutout, but they gave up a late touchdown. But Michigan had 12 first place votes.
Only
Texas,
12?
yeah, no. Well, because it got split like with the rest of the top five.
Okay.
Texas, won 40 to 14. We'll get in that in a little bit. They got 10 first place votes. Ohio State got a first place vote, but they were idle this week.
I mean, they're idle most weeks.
Yeah, fair. Florida State coming in at fifth. They were also idle this week. They got four first place votes, and
So
that's
Florida
all the first
State
place
has
votes
more first place votes than Ohio
than
State.
Ohio State. Yeah,
Is
but
that really
like
so? I don't
point
understand how
wise, they're
Florida
like
State dropped.
yeah. Penn State comes in at six. Washington
They finally
seven.
moved up. I don't
Yeah.
understand how Penn State was stagnant almost every week this year.
Well, they were. I guess they were at six last week as well because
Okay.
the top seven didn't change.
Okay.
But Penn State at six, UW, Washington at seven. Oregon moved up one spot to eighth. USC fell one spot to nine. Notre Dame made a re-entrance or reappearance in the top 10 at number 10. Bama moved up a spot to 11. Oklahoma moved up two spots to 12 with their 30-point win over Iowa State. That my one of my few actual wins. Um, Washington State 13th in the country. Yeah, then UNC 14, Oregon State 15. Ole Miss moved up four spots to number 16 after their win against LSU. Miami 17. Utah fell eight spots after they lost to Oregon State by a couple scores. Uh, Duke fell two spots to 19. Kentucky making their first appearance in the top 25. They're at 20.
Oh, I
Missouri,
almost had it. I thought they were going to swap places with Florida, who was
hmm,
22.
yeah, they moved up more than that.
Good. They deserve it.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, Kentucky at 20. Missouri moved up two spots after their 17-point win over Vandy. So they're at 21. Tennessee at 22. Yeah, at 22. They fell one spot after their 20
Kentucky and
Missouri.
Missouri over Tennessee. Love to see it.
The East by far the best division in the SEC. Who'd have
Where's
thought?
LSU? Did you already say LSU?
No, nope, I did not.
Oh,
They are
oh,
20. They fell 10 spots to 23.
oh, buddy.
10 spots. And then 24 is Fresno State. They moved up one spot, and then Louisville makes an entrance after their narrow win at NC State on what Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Georgia should
And
not be number one in the country. In no way, shape, or form should the Georgia team that's performed the way they have, regardless of what the stats say. If you
mhm.
watch the game, this is not the best team in the country.
No, no. And I would love to have someone argue with us to say why Georgia would be the number one team in the country right now, as we're speaking in on what October 1st. They're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, no, absolutely not. I think losing that number one spot would motivate the team to play like number one team.
Yeah, it has in the
Um,
past.
so I would love to see it
Hmm.
personally.
Yeah.
I do think it is wild that LSU's already out of the playoff conversation.
By yeah. Well, I guess I don't know where did we have? I think was that our next game that we were talking about.
Yes,
Okay, yeah. So let's get into that.
man, wild game.
Hmm.
We were both very wrong. Vegas knows more than us. Imagine that.
Yeah, right.
LSU 2.5 point favorites go in to the SIP. Ole Miss over under 67. Both of these teams tried to hit the over by themselves.
Hmm.
Ole Miss tried to lose the game.
Yeah,
They love attempting to lose games. I want to say they were up like 28-7 at one point.
they may have been. They were up by two scores at least. At one point.
They ended up winning this game 55-49. Jackson Dart threw a game-winning touchdown with 39 seconds left. When all they needed to do was kick a field goal to win the game.
Hmm.
So when they threw that with 39 seconds, I was very concerned about the outcome and how that would turn out. But
Well,
they
if
did
so,
well.
if they would have kicked the field goal, they would only been up by one.
Yep.
With, I mean, they would have some time left. I mean, not that Ramos or whatever is gonna necessarily strike fear into anybody because we know his history as the LSU kicker, but um, the balls on Lane. I mean, again, he tried to lose that, but just couldn't. Brian Kelly I don't know, outdid himself.
Yeah, I don't. I wish I would have watched more of this game. I'll probably go back and watch it all some
It
point this
was.
week because it was a good game.
I went back and watched like it again. I know no free ads, but I'm going to say one anyway with YouTube TV. Um, my mom had her account here, so I was watching that, even though we have our own cable outside of that. But they'll do like a key play feature where it's. I mean, you can do the same thing on YouTube for the most part, but it will show you like stats and all that as it's going, and it's just kind of nice to see it that way. But God, what was I? Now I totally lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me later.
All right, Jackson Dart. phenomenal game. 26-39 for 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, along with 7 carries, 50 yards, and another touchdown. I didn't see this, but apparently had
Oh,
an insane hurdle
go
over a defender.
go look at that right now, and
All
I'll
right,
read up some other stuff because
all right.
poof, he's got that dog in him. All right, so Quinshon Junkins finally decided to show up this season. We think he was a little bit nicked up earlier this year. He went off 33 rushes for 177 yards and a touchdown. Uh, Jaden Daniels, again, not necessarily his fault that they lost this game. It's because they're the Ole Miss. I'm sorry, well, both defenses couldn't stop nosebleed. But Jaden Daniels, again, not really the reason why they lost this game. He was 27 of 36, 414 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had 15 rushes for 99 yards and also a touchdown. And John, I don't know if you saw this either, but in the first quarter, Jaden Daniels, he was scrambling around. Somebody was like tugging on his jersey. He was able to get out of that. He took maybe the hardest hit of the season. He
Oh,
got blew
yes.
up.
Yes.
So he fumbled that and eventually led to an Ole Miss touchdown, which kind of ultimately ended up winning them the game, even though it was in the first quarter. Like that was a big play for one of the few defensive plays that Ole Miss made all game.
Oh, I just saw the hurdle.
It dog
He didn't even have
dog
to go up that high.
yeah.
LSU secondary, not good.
That oh my god. I mean, when I was on the elliptical, like just looking at that, I had to stop for a second and just admire it and go back and watch it again. Like this incredible
That was insane.
for a quarterback. That's not Jaden Daniels.
Man. And that hit Jaden Daniels took. I know you already kind of talked about it a little bit.
Hmm.
That was brutal. I am shocked there was not a penalty called on that. And
Yeah.
then they had to figure out that there was no penalty.
Hmm. It was, I mean, insane. Like I said, maybe the hardest hit of the entire season so far, for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say one other thing. I didn't put it in there, but Ulysses Bentley also had himself a game.
Good.
Um, 9 carries, 90 yards, 10 yards rush on average, and a touchdown. He also had a 43-yard touchdown. I think it was late in this game too. So again, that old 317 yards as a team rushing. So insane. Again, no defense is fighting
So
this game at all.
what I'm hearing is LSU is going to finish the year with 3 or more losses.
So here's how I hope it ends up playing out. Because really at this point, because Ole Miss could very well beat Georgia at home, so like that's not even a given anymore. So the
Yeah.
Ole Miss to Atlanta train is back on. It's back on the rails. I'm back on it for a little bit. I mean, obviously I don't want them to beat Georgia, but um, could LSU beat Alabama in a shootout? Absolutely, because Alabama can't even get in a shootout. Um,
But
it's in Tuscaloosa. I know that.
but the concern is Alabama does have a pretty good defense.
Hmm.
Like
Ole Miss split the perceived like two toughest games that they're going to play in the West this year.
yeah,
And that credit to me. I think you said it. I think you said it too, but um, called that. So I thought it was going to be the other way around, but
same.
I'll take a win when I can get one.
Yeah. And I mean, man, if Ole Miss lost last week because of coaching,
Yeah.
they had to play. They got the dogs.
Mhm.
They got the dogs to have beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
And
Lane
should
is
have.
Lane is still scared of Daddy Saban.
Hmm. And like he said, that might be the last time he plays him because Ole Miss doesn't play Alabama next year, so that might be a good thing for Ole Miss.
Well, Nick Saban at this point, who knows if he's going to retire or if he's just going to die on the sideline.
He could. So, I mean, Bear Bryant did basically the same thing. Wasn't it like a month or two later that he died?
Yeah,
Joe Paterno under way worse circumstances.
correct.
Same thing.
All right. Notre Dame, 6-point favorite at Duke, over under 52.5. This was a very hard fought defensive game that ended up in borderline tragedy with Riley Leonard getting hurt after putting it all out there on his team.
Hmm.
I watched that hit in slow motion and almost gagged. It wasn't a hard hit up high, but
Hmm.
his foot was the wrong direction underneath somebody while he was getting tackled.
I did
Um,
not see it. I didn't see much of this game, but I mean, I saw there was somebody, one of my Notre Dame friends had said something about uh Sam Hartman like waiting after the game to check on Leonard to see if he was all right. So
oh,
had to
yeah,
be bad.
no. So Sam Hartman literally cut Holly Rowe off in the middle of an interview. He was not paying attention to her questions. Not trying to be disrespectful, but
Yeah.
like the entire time you could see him scanning the Duke sideline trying to figure out where Riley Leonard was. And when he
Hmm.
saw some movement in the injury tent, he said, "Hey, really appreciate you. Go Irish, but I'm going to go check on Riley." And just dipped out in the
Good for
middle
him.
of her question.
You can't. No, how can anybody hate Sam Hartman?
It's impossible.
Yeah, good
It's
dude.
impossible.
Even if he's at Notre Dame, solid, not solid, great dude.
Great dude. I
Yeah.
mean, came back from literally having a rib cut out of his chest.
Hmm.
It came back
Dog.
from blood clots that they said should end his career. He's like, "No, just cut my rib out. I'm good."
Then he came back like weeks later. Like,
3 weeks later,
damn.
beat Vandy, who at the time was 2-0,
Hmm.
and then goes to Notre Dame. Shouldn't have lost last week against Ohio State. Comes
But it
back.
didn't. Yeah, that loss didn't end up really hurting them at all. Like, it may keep them out of the playoff, with it still being a 14, but they're still a top 10 team.
Oh, absolutely.
They,
And
they,
depending on
yeah,
what they do against USC, it may not hurt them whatsoever.
that's gonna be a game.
Yeah, all eyes on that one.
I need to see where
Um,
that's at.
so Sam Hartman, this is going to be weird, and if you haven't seen the movie, you won't know what I'm talking about. Sam Hartman, with the way he plays and the way he looks, to me is a combination. Keanu Reeves from The Replacements
Oh, okay, yeah,
and Jimmy G.
that is like,
The
yeah,
hair, the
yeah.
beard.
Hmm.
Sam Hartman's a good looking dude. Like, no
Yes.
homo. Great looking dude.
You got your
Phenomenal
socks on?
player. But I mean, if somebody was able to do a mashup of Keanu Reeves from that movie with Jimmy G's beard, like Jimmy
Wow.
G's facial structure and beard, Keanu Reeves in the way he plays, that's
Hmm.
Sam Hartman, and I'm a big Sam Hartman fan.
Hmm. That is so spot on. I'm mad
I
I didn't think of that.
honestly, we were grocery shopping a little while ago, and I was like,
You were just
oh.
daydreaming about Sam Hartman?
No, I was trying to add some notes in here so you
Oh,
didn't have to do it all. All right. Kansas at Texas, who was 16.5 point favorites at home, over under 61.5. We both called this one, right?
yep.
There's absolutely no reason that Kansas was going to win this game or it was going to even be close. Texas is a phenomenal team. Obviously, what, top four?
Yeah, they're number three right now.
Still number three.
Mhm.
Um,
Dude, AD. Okay, so I'm just looking because I didn't really look at the box score or anything like that. I didn't watch any of this game because it was such a blowout. AD Mitchell showed out 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Um, Jonathan Brooks, the running back at Texas, 218 yards and two touchdowns, including a 67-yard touchdown.
and Quinn Ewers had like a 40 something yard touchdown run in this one, didn't he?
He uh he had seven rushes, 40 yards, and 30-yard touchdown.
30-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Texas seems to me right
Mhm.
now like they have the best argument to be the number one team in the country.
Yeah. I mean, their defense is playing incredible. The offense is amazing. AD Mitchell
They beat
really missing.
Alabama in Tuscaloosa, something that had not been done since 2019. It took a Heisman winner and multiple first round wide receivers to do it.
Hmm. And they won by 10. It wasn't like it was a fluke. I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah,
Should have
it
been worse.
absolutely could have been worse.
Yeah. So yeah, Texas should be the number one team in the country for sure.
Let's talk about the number one Texas team in your heart.
Um, Houston. No. All right. So
Houston
Houston.
was a problem. They have lots of them.
Yeah, and again, I let my hatred get the best of me here. So talking about like bandwagon teams, I am so off of this bandwagon. But so I mean, here are just my notes for this game. So Houston at Texas Tech. Texas Tech was an 8.5 point favorite, and Houston got their ass kicked. Um, definitely did not come close to within that 8.5. I think it was. I don't even have it pulled up, but
It was bad.
yeah, it was a beatdown. And all I had
Texas
to
Tech is
say,
back, dude. They can still get in the conference championship game.
they they could. I mean, okay. So I'll have to look at their standings real quick because I have no idea. I haven't really looked at the Big 12, but well, they only have one Big 12 loss. I mean, they got that going for them. They're 1-1 in the Big 12, but
There you go.
um, yeah, they Houston shit the bed, and they should probably fire Coach Dana there. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been fired yet, but um, they
Texas
still have a
Tech is
chance.
currently tied for fifth in the Big
Mhm.
12. They're
Yeah.
tied with 9 other teams for fifth, but they're tied for fifth.
Mhm. Yeah, you got Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, K-State, who again lost to Missouri, Kansas. Yeah, I mean, I mean, pretty much everybody is 1-1 or 2-0. So,
And Oklahoma and Texas, one of them is
oh,
coming
one of
away
mhm.
from the game this weekend with a loss.
That I'm looking forward to that game. I think Texas ends up killing them, but we'll talk about that later this week. But
And
um,
Texas Tech is playing Baylor, dude. They can beat the shit out of Baylor. Come on now.
yeah, they're okay. They're
Baylor's favored by 1 right now.
I don't know what I don't know what the status is of
Tyler Shug.
yeah. I'm I think he's out for the rest of the season, but I could be wrong because like that.
They didn't need him to score 49 yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, that offense is built the score. Yeah, 49-28 was the score of that. He only had 161 yards passing in that game. It still went off.
Hey, it don't matter.
Yeah, they got
Points.
at Baylor again, then at home against Kansas State, at BYU, TCU, at Kansas, UCF, and finish at Texas. I mean,
It will
there's still
be exciting either way because a
yeah.
lot of these teams don't have defenses but do have
Mhm.
offenses.
Yeah. Again, don't forget they Texas Tech does not play Oklahoma. Like they have a real relatively soft Big 12 schedule outside of, finishing with Texas. So, could they finish with, two losses in the Big 12? Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah,
I was just so butthurt over the first 5 games that I'm back
deservedly
on.
so. Like they
Yeah.
deserved to have no confidence in them.
Mhm.
They lost it. It's not that you didn't have it. They lost
Yeah.
it.
I mean, prior to this win against Houston, their only other win was against Tarleton State. That was it.
That not a good look.
No.
West Virginia is also apparently a good team.
Yeah, they're undefeated in the Big 12. They've only lost to a top six Penn State team to open the season. So they're better. They're better than what everybody
I
thought.
mean, yeah, West Virginia. Who I wouldn't have thought they were this good.
No.
And then this week, West Virginia plays Houston, gets kicked shit out of them.
Mhm.
Plays an Oklahoma State team that lost to an FCS team. West Virginia's first test may be UCF because UCF has a good offense.
Mhm.
I mean,
They don't play Texas though, too. So there's that. They do
and
get
they get to
Oklahoma.
finish the season with Cincinnati and Baylor back to back.
Yeah. Ooh. And Oklahoma State isn't in it either. So
No.
interesting.
You
Okay, I'm
know,
I'm back. I'm back on. I'm back on.
you know who is it? That's Washington.
They're a
18 and a half
wagon.
point favorites
They're a
at
wagon.
Arizona. Over under 67.5. I'm disappointed they didn't cover. This is the first
Hmm.
time I have bet on Washington to cover this year, and they failed me. Just being honest, a little disappointed. Might have to give them a phone call here in a little bit and just let them know. Their biggest fan in the state of Georgia is highly disappointed in them. I
Yeah,
really think that they could have done better there, but Arizona's been a scrappy team this year.
they have. I mean,
Like,
were they the Arizona school that took Mississippi State to overtime?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. No, I mean, so the thing about Arizona, they're good, but not good enough to hang with, like, get close to teams that have a higher talent level.
Yeah.
Arizona scored 28 points in this game, I believe.
Uh,
Um,
24.
24. 24 points in this game against the same Washington team that has the most points they've allowed this year. Before that was, I'm getting it pulled up here. They allowed 32 to Cal in an absolute beatdown where the second string played most of the second half. And before
Hmm.
that, the high was 19 points. So Arizona getting within one touchdown in this game is highly impressive.
Hmm. You know what's you don't want you want to know what's interesting? Arizona is ahead of UCLA, Colorado, and then obviously Arizona State and Stanford, but they are right in the middle of the pack. I mean, they've been better than what everybody thought.
Um,
I mean, granted, their wins are against North Arizona, UTEP, and Stanford. And they barely beat Stanford, but yeah, like you said, they're scrappy.
they're scrappy. They're going
Yeah.
to play up to the competition,
Now they
and
do got USC next week or this week, so
so that's tough. That's tough. But
it is in Arizona.
it's in Arizona,
Mm,
and Washington has a better defense than USC does. So I entirely expect them to be able to hang a little bit closer to USC.
mm,
So I'm looking forward to that. But Penix had a great day, 363 passing yards, and all the touchdowns were in the run game, which is
yeah.
not something you expect from this air raid offense. The
Mm,
defense showed some holes in the short passing game. I don't think it's going to be a big concern moving forward because Arizona does have a quarterback with a big arm and fast receivers. So they're more trying to cover the downfield stuff. So short game's not super concerning to me, at least right now. I still think they make the Pac-12 championship, potentially playoff. So real excited about Washington right now. I think they have an argument to be the number one team in the country with what they've done.
mm.
Um, so
Yeah, it's crazy that they're still at seventh. I mean, not that anybody ahead of them has lost. Like I would swap them with Ohio State, but you know, I don't have a vote.
I wish I did.
I mean, I can't believe a lot of these people have votes, but yeah.
If I had a vote, I would put Georgia at 25th this week.
Oh, you want to see what John Clay said? I'm curious.
Yeah,
All right, so he had Georgia at one, Michigan at two, Florida State at three, Ohio State four, Texas five, Penn State six, Washington seven, and then let me see. He had Kentucky at 22, so he's a little bit lower than everybody else.
I John Clay is not like I understand he is a Kentucky writer, but
Hmm.
he is extremely intellectually honest and
Hmm.
objective with his opinions, and I love that.
Hmm.
Like I hope we have the opportunity to have him on later this week.
Yeah.
Something that I'm sure you were hoping that we wouldn't talk about this week. You ready? You ready to do some owning up?
No, we're canceling the shit. I'm not doing it.
Well, I'll talk about what I did. Um, because if you guys follow our Instagram and saw the best bets that or the bet slip that I posted, I'll just let me pull it up real quick because the bet slip went five and one.
Hmm.
Bet slip went 5-1. That's pretty good, right?
Good. Yeah.
Between Friday night and the end of the day yesterday, I went one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I went 8-1 between
Ooh.
Friday night's game and last night. My one loss was Washington to cover the 18 and a half. I live bet the under in the Louisville game. I took Ray Davis at least one touchdown. I took Peyton Thorne under 130 passing yards, which normally don't bet on Georgia games, but I thought Auburn was going to do exactly what they did, and Peyton Thorne wasn't even going to play the whole game, so how would he get 130 passing yards?
Right.
Um, and then everything else that I put out on the bet slip that we posted to Instagram the other day. So, while my podcast picks could have been better, I took Georgia minus 14 and the over. Both of those missed. I took South Carolina plus 12 missed. Kentucky, real proud of that one. I took
Yeah.
LSU to cover. I think the entire world should have taken LSU to cover because Ole Miss gave nobody any reason to believe they could score 55 points in a
Yeah, we
game.
we were on the right side of that. I don't feel bad about that at all.
I don't feel that that's one that it's like okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, Notre Dame covered the 6, although if Riley Leonard hadn't got hurt, he actually fumbled on that play where his ankle almost was detached from his body. So
It's
no,
close.
Duke was going to score another touchdown when that happened. It kind
Mhm.
of is what it is. Texas covered the 16 and a half. Washington did not cover the 18 and a half. Oregon did cover 27 and a half. USC, Colorado, after a late surge by Colorado, covered the 73 and a half.
Mhm.
Penn State Northwestern over 46 and Mizzou Vandy over 53 and a half to bring me to 7 and 5 this week, 30 and 22 overall.
All right, I'm gonna rattle this off real quick because I don't want to harp on it.
I
Um,
mean, you could just say this loss.
if you would have faded me, you would have went 10-3. So just keep that in mind for next week because I am on the opposite of a heater. I'm fucking frozen. Um, I'll be Walt Disney. All right. So win. Okay, I'm gonna go wins because it's faster to go through. So Texas got the win, 16 and a half. Favorite there. Oklahoma, 20-point favorite, got that. Georgia Southern did cover the 6.5. So shout out Georgia Southern, them and Georgia State on a collision course for the Sun Belt title, like we
Fun
talked
Belt
about.
runs through Georgia this year.
Hmm. The real GSU is going to be champs. So hail Southern. Get after that ass. All right. Losses. It's a lot. So buckle up. All right. So Georgia, 14.5-point favorite, lost that. Also took the over. Almost came close to that. South Carolina blew that. I took Florida, and as soon as that game started, I think I sent in a group text. I'm like, I messed up.
Whoa, 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 whoa. The total for the Georgia game was 47. 27-20. We both hit on that.
Did we? Oh shit.
Okay. So I was 8 and 4
Okay.
and you were 4 and 9.
Or nine. A little bit better.
A little bit better.
Yeah. You said 8. You said you were 8-4.
Yeah, cuz if the Georgia over hit, I had
Okay.
four L's.
All right. And then yeah, so I'll fix that real quick. But 9. So that brings me to 24, 26. Okay. All right.
Hey,
So
you're
anyways,
you're fighting for 500 here. It's
yeah,
okay.
I'm scrappy. Uh
You're
so
the
yeah, it took
Arizona of the podcast.
yeah. So yeah, it took the L on Florida. I felt immediately as soon as that game started, I'm like, I fucked up. I felt bad. So I just wanted to be different last week. But the yeah, missed on the under as well. I think, right? Yeah. Um yeah, LSU lost on that. We both did, but we're both on the right side of that. I felt like not
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
take anything back. I did take Duke to cover. They ended up not covering, lost by 7. And then again, wrong on the Texas Kansas State over. If Kansas would have scored a little bit more, we would have got there, but alas, we're not. I took Houston, plus 8.5. Fuck them. The under on Michigan State, Iowa did not hit. Michigan State still trash. Should have
Who
took the
won that game?
Iowa one. I'm not
Oh.
sure what. I'm not. I think the total was like 41 or whatever. So like it wasn't like it was significantly over. It wasn't like anything. I'll go back and look at that in a
It's
second. Then
it's not like Ferentz Jr. is keeping his job.
there's not a chance. Oh, and Cade McNamara got hurt in that game, the quarterback. So
Oh, that sucks.
So any chance that they had of saving Brian Ferentz's job is gone. But
Especially with
yeah,
that goose egg to Penn State.
yeah, that hurts. Um, and then the USC, I took them to win by 21.5, and it was looking good early on. And then, like you said, Colorado made a surge to come back. So again, my week 5 record 4-9 overall. I'm 24-26, so a little bit better that you catch that. 'Cause again, math not my strong suit. Is 46.5. Is 27 more than 46.5? Sometimes I don't know.
All right. Nothing finer moment of the week. I missed last week, so we're getting a twofer right now. So last week, what I wanted to talk about was Haley Van Voorhees was the first female college football player to not be a kicker. Had a
Oh,
quarterback
really?
pressure, had a pass defended. Division three doesn't matter. That's awesome.
What school is it?
She plays for Shenandoah University as a safety, flying around the field in the clips
Up
that I
there.
saw. So
And playing center field in West Virginia or Virginia, wherever the hell that river's at.
yeah, no, I super cool. You know, call me woke, whatever. I think it's awesome that she's out there taking that risk because regardless of the level, college football is still brutal
Hmm.
to go through every week. And then so this week, throwing it back to Sam Hartman, standing, cutting his interview short, trying to give Riley Leonard some love because they did play against each other a few times when Sam was at Wake Forest, and
Oh, yeah.
then you know caveat off of that, Duke needs taller crutches because
Yeah.
Riley Leonard is tall,
Hmm.
and the crutches they had might have fit a 5'7" person.
Like
Um,
Makai Muse, that would have been perfect.
right, but they were 6 inches from his armpits fully extended. So he was trying to go across the field using just his hands to support him. It's one of those things like you got a cart.
Yeah.
Like there's no shame. Riley
Mhm.
Leonard, your foot was on backwards a minute ago. Like get on the cart, dude.
Yeah.
But awesome of him to gut it out, and I hate ESPN for following him across the field on those crutches, making him look crazy. Because if you weren't
I'll,
paying attention, all you saw was a guy struggling with crutches, not knowing that there was 6 inches between his armpit and the pad.
I'll have to go back and see it. I didn't see any of that. So,
It it was not pretty to watch.
you know,
It wasn't. But love Sam Hartman for what he did. Duke's athletic trainers need to do better. They
yeah.
could have. You're telling me that they are a basketball school, have people over 7 foot tall, and the athletic staff don't have crutches?
And like it's an ankle injury, like the number one injury in basketball?
Yeah, come
Come
on,
on
Duke,
now.
do better.
Yeah.
All right, guys, just a couple shout outs before we close it out here tonight. Instagram, nothing.finer.pod, Twitter, @finerpod, Facebook and YouTube. Just search us there. Rate and review the show 5 stars. Send us a screenshot. We will send you a sticker. Don't forget, get in that ASW giveaway. And as always, remember, there is nothing finer in the land.
Than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.